I'm talking with Anna Krzyżanowska of the European Commission. Anna, we're here in Warsaw and you're going to be talking about the various plans for broadband across Europe. Let's start by asking, how are we doing with our broadband deployment at the moment?
We're making progress. As of the latest numbers, Europe is covered with fast broadband at 62% of its territory for the households. That number is quite impressive and the dynamics behind it is encouraging, but we do worry about the development in rural areas, which is falling behind. As of today, only 18% of rural households have access to fast internet.
So 62% is a pass mark in most examinations, but are you confident that we can get that high? Can we bring up the rural threshold to achieve this target?
Well, there are two aspects. First, we set a target for 2020. We still have a few years to go. At the same time, we worry that the speed targets that were set in the digital agenda for Europe may not be enough. Today, we estimate that very shortly a family or a small business may be needing more than 30 megabits per second of its internet needs. But obviously, we need to continue working towards that goal. There are three ways in which, at the European level, we can make a difference. We can make a difference through policy, through regulation, and through financing.
Now, on the finance side, and just before you go, this will be a very interesting thing to tell us about. You're going to be outlining a little bit tomorrow about the fundamentals of the Juncker plan. Can you just take us through those for people who aren't fully aware of what it entails?
Absolutely, but perhaps before we do this, let me shortly recall the two other sources of financing which are already at the table.
Yes, please.
At the European level, we have Connected Europe facility, which has a broadband element. It is very small. It was heavily reduced in the last financial discussions, but it is open to accommodate broadband projects which may have financing needs as long as they have innovative business models and they bring something that we could replicate for precisely more difficult, more rural areas in Europe. There is also a considerable amount of money, much more than ever before, within the structural funds, the structural cohesion funds, which some, not all of the European countries will benefit from now until 2020. In our most recent estimates, and these are not final numbers, there will be over 5.5 billion euros for broadband throughout Europe. But the really big surprise came within the investment package. You may recall that Mr. Juncker, when he presented his political priorities to the Parliament, said digital single market, which needs to be connected, and the investment in infrastructures. And these infrastructures are transport, energy, and broadband. Very clearly, broadband is confirmed within European policy as one of the key vital infrastructures for the future of Europe. I will not walk you through the financial details because that might be perhaps a little tedious, but what is important is that with a relatively small amount of money at the European level, we can propose a guarantee for the financing in Europe which will leverage from the private sector an enormous sum of money, which is estimated at 315 billion euros for these infrastructures. For smaller projects, there will be a dedicated pillar within the facility to deal with SMEs and mid-caps. Some of the most dynamic and most attractive broadband projects, including fiber projects, would fall into this mid-cap category. So they will also be beneficiaries in the future of the Juncker package.
So there's some really good opportunities there for people that are committed to investing in broadband.
Most definitely. The opportunities will come now that the financing is available. But the two to tango. You can offer financing, but you need to have projects that will actually prepare business plans and will ask for that financing. In many cases, people will very easily assume that they need to get grants in order to take these projects off the ground. In our experience, that is not always the case. And in some cases, a blend between a grant and a financial instrument may be the best solution for the financing. It aligns much better the public and private benefits that come from fiber. The connectivity brings obviously money to the operator, people pay for connectivity, but it also has a number of non-monetizable benefits, like access to culture, like access to services, the reduction of costs, the ability to do things at a distance, the fact that you do not have to, to actually travel in order to get to something or have access to something. These are incredibly good benefits, especially for the rural societies, but they will not be easily monetizable within the project. Hence, this alignment of public and private interests is of key importance. And that is the reason why we support that development at all levels of government, European, national and regional.
So we're going to have some very interesting years ahead of us by the looks of it. Thank you very much for talking to us. That was really, really interesting, and good luck with the talk tomorrow.
Thank you.
So a very interesting viewpoint there. Europe is getting there, but is it getting there fast enough?